She didn't expect the slap, not in front of a cabin full of strangers. Not after a lifetime of swallowing other people's assumptions, just to keep the peace. But as Ariana Cole, a poised black woman dressed in quiet elegance, felt the sting spread across her cheek, something inside her snapped. Not in anger, but in clarity. The flight attendant's voice still echoed, sharp and dripping with prejudice, as the cabin froze in disbelief. Ariana sat perfectly still, breathing through the humiliation, through the centuries of weight that moment carried. Her fingers didn't tremble, her breath didn't break. She simply lifted her eyes and stared at the woman who had just crossed a line she could never uncross. Because Ariana wasn't just any passenger. In the moment she revealed who she really was, this entire plane, every passenger, every whisper, every assumption, was about to erupt. Stay. What happens next will shock you. The late afternoon sun washed Denver International Airport in gold as passengers stepped toward the sleek private jet, waiting on the VIP runway. The polished silver body of the aircraft reflected the sky like a mirror, quiet, powerful, and intentionally discreet. It was the kind of plane used only by CEOs, royalty, or people who didn't need to explain who they were. Among the passengers boarding that day was Ariana Cole, a black woman in her late 30s, wearing a navy blue blazer and tailored pants that fit her like confidence. She moved with quiet authority, the kind of calm that doesn't need to be announced. Most people looked away without a second thought, but not everyone. At the top of the stairs, Kara Whitfield, the lead flight attendant, stood with her perfect blonde bun and a smile so sharp it could slice glass. Kara's smile brightened immediately for the older white couple behind Ariana. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Bennett," Kara said warmly, almost bowing. Elaine Bennett laughed softly. "Oh, Kara, you always treat us like royalty." Kara beamed, then turned to Ariana, and the light in her face turned off. Her smile vanished. Her tone dropped several degrees. "Welcome," she said flatly. Ariana caught the shift. She'd seen that tone her whole life, on sales floors in luxury hotels, at business conferences where people assumed she didn't belong. She simply gave a polite nod and stepped inside. The cabin was immaculate. Cream leather seats, gold accents, soft lighting, champagne waiting in crystal flutes. Sky Vista Air took pride in perfection, and Ariana, though no one knew it yet, took pride in owning all of it. She walked to her seat, first row, left side, set her bag beneath the seat and quietly pulled out her tablet. But Kara was already watching her. From across the aisle, Daniel Hartman, a businessman in a gray suit, noticed the tension. He glanced from Kara to Ariana, brows knitting slightly. He'd seen this kind of thing before. Kara approached Ariana with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Ma'am," she said, leaning in slightly, "I think you're in the wrong section." Ariana looked up, expression calm. "No, this is my seat." Kara let out a short, condescending laugh. "This section is reserved for elite travelers, not general passengers." General, the coded word, the one that meant you don't look like you belong here. Ariana held her gaze. "I recommend checking the passenger list." "I don't need to check anything," Kara snapped. "I know exactly who's supposed to sit here." Across the aisle, Pamela Sloan, a nosy socialite with pearl earrings too big for her face, leaned toward her friend and whispered loudly. She probably wandered into first class by accident. Happens all the time. Ariana heard it. So did everyone else. Still, she stayed composed. But inside, a familiar ache stirred. An ache born from a lifetime of being underestimated, dismissed, or judged before she even spoke. Kara crossed her arms. "I'm asking you nicely, ma'am. Move to the back. Now." Ariana closed her tablet slowly. "And I am telling you, I'm not moving." Kara's jaw clenched. "If you don't move, I will call security and have you escorted off this plane." Daniel Hartman shifted in his seat. "Excuse me," he said calmly. "She isn't causing a problem. Why don't you just check the manifest?" Kara shot him a look sharp enough to cut steel. "Sir, please stay out of this." He raised his hands. "Just trying to help." A younger flight attendant, Madison Clark, stood nervously near the galley, her eyes flicking between them. She opened her mouth to say something, then froze when Kara shot her a warning glare. Silence filled the cabin. Thick. Tense. waiting to snap. Ariana leaned back slightly in her seat. You shouldn't make assumptions about people, Kara. Assumptions? Kara scoffed. You're sitting in a $12,000 seat. That's not an assumption. That's common sense. Ariana's calm expression didn't waver. I paid for this seat. Pamela muttered, Yeah, right. Kara took a step closer. I don't know how you got past the gate, but you're not staying here. Either you move or you don't fly. The words hit Ariana like cold water. Sharp, humiliating, but not unfamiliar. She inhaled slowly. Her voice when she spoke was soft but unwavering. I am staying right here. Kara's face reddened. Madison, she barked. Escort her to the back. Madison hesitated. Kara, maybe we should just... Now, Madison. Madison swallowed hard and took a step forward. Before she could speak, Ariana adjusted her legs slightly into the aisle, stretching for comfort. It was a small, natural movement. Kara saw it and changed her path intentionally. Her heel struck Ariana's leg. The tray of water she carried jolted. Glasses toppled. Ice-cold water splashed down Ariana's lap. Oh my God, Kara shouted dramatically. Watch where you put your legs. You've made a mess. Gasps rippled through the cabin. Ariana looked down at her soaked clothes, then up at Kara. You walked into me, she said calmly. Kara sneered. Maybe keep your legs to yourself next time. People are trying to work. Daniel jumped from his seat. That's enough, Kara. But Kara wasn't finished. Ariana opened her mouth to speak, and Kara's hand flashed. The slap cracked through the cabin like lightning. Passengers gasped. Madison clapped a hand over her mouth. Pamela nearly dropped her designer purse. Ariana didn't flinch. Slowly, she straightened her posture, eyes locked on Kara with a calm so cold it shivered through the entire plane. You just made, Ariana said softly, the biggest mistake of your life. Kara blinked, suddenly unsure. But it was too late. The power had already shifted, and the reckoning had already begun. Do you believe people are still judged by their skin color on flights today? Yes or no? What do you think is about to happen next? For several seconds after the slap, the cabin was frozen, silent except for the low hum of the engines. The water still glistened on Ariana Cole's blazer, dripping onto the carpet in slow, rhythmic beats. Kara Whitfield's hand trembled in midair, as if even she couldn't quite believe what she'd done. Ariana didn't move, didn't touch her cheek, didn't break eye contact. Her composure was unnerving, calm in a way that made everyone else shift in their seats. Daniel Hartman finally found his voice. Kara, what is wrong with you? You can't hit a passenger? Kara spun toward him, her chest rising and falling rapidly. Stay out of this, Daniel. You didn't see how she what? He snapped. Sat in a seat she paid for? Pamela Sloan leaned over her armrest. I mean, can she even afford a seat here? She whispered loudly to her friend. Ariana heard that too. Something inside her tightened, not anger, not shock, but exhaustion. A bone-deep tiredness that only Black Americans recognized. The kind that came from fighting the same battle in different rooms. Different faces, different versions of the same prejudice. Kara pointed at Ariana, visibly shaking. She's been disruptive since she boarded. She refuses to move. She doesn't belong in this cabin. Madison Clark stepped forward at last, her voice trembling. Kara, please, you need to stop. This isn't right. Kara shot her a sharp look. Madison, I swear, if you undermine me in front of passengers... Kara, Ariana said gently, her voice low, steady, almost too calm. You need to think very carefully about what you're doing right now. Oh, please, and Kara snapped. I'm not afraid of your empty threats. People like you pull this card all the time. People like you. The phrase hung in the air like poison. A woman in row 3 whispered, Oh my God, in disbelief. Daniel rubbed his forehead. Wow, she said it out loud. Ariana lifted her phone, unlocked it, typed something quickly, then set it face down on the armrest. A small, simple action, but it sent visible panic rippling across Kara's face, as if suddenly a part of her realized she might have done something irreversible. What did you just do? Kara asked sharply. Ariana didn't answer. She looked out the window instead, watching ground support vehicles shrink as the jet lifted higher into the sky. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft but unbreakable. Kara, I've been patient with you. I've given you every chance to correct what you're doing. You chose to escalate. You chose to humiliate me publicly, and you chose to put your hands on me. She tilted her head slightly. Do you even understand what that means? Kara swallowed. Her confidence was cracking. You provoked me. Yarrow. The older couple, Arthur and Elaine Bennett, who'd flown with Sky Vista Air for years, stared at her in shock. Elaine spoke first. Kara, she didn't provoke anything. You harassed that poor woman the moment she stepped on board. Arthur nodded. This is the worst behavior I've seen on any flight, and we've flown a lot. The other passengers shifted uncomfortably. One man pulled out his phone discreetly and began recording. Madison stepped closer to Ariana, voice barely above a whisper. Do you want me to call someone? Report this? Ariana didn't look at her. You already did. Madison's eyes widened. I did. I called the operations line when Kara went to the galley. Kara's head snapped toward her. You what? Before she could explode again, the cockpit door opened. Everyone turned. Captain Reed Lawson walked down the aisle, face pale, expression tight. He wasn't just annoyed, he was terrified. Kara, he said, voice clipped and professional. Step aside now. Monet, Kara frowned. Captain, she is causing a disturbance. I was handling it. You've handled enough, he said sharply. Move. Passengers began whispering. What's happening? Is she in trouble? Why does the captain look like that? Captain Lawson turned to Ariana, his posture straightening with respect. Ms. Cole, I received a call. Kara blinked. A call? From who? Captain Lawson didn't look at her. All his attention was on Ariana. Ma'am, he continued, the situation has been escalated to management. They've instructed us to land immediately. Gas rippled through the cabin. Pamela Sloan covered her mouth. They're landing the plane? Over her? Kara let out a panicked laugh. This is ridiculous. She's not that important. Captain Lawson turned slowly toward her. Kara, she is. The silence thickened. Madison clasped her hands together, heart pounding. Daniel leaned forward, stunned. Captain Lawson inhaled, bracing himself. The call came from corporate headquarters. From the executive floor. They said the owner of Sky Vista Air is on board. His eyes locked on Ariana. They identified you. Ariana didn't move. Kara did. She stumbled back a step. Owner? No, that's impossible. That can't, she what? Daniel asked coldly. Doesn't look like an owner to you? Kara's face flushed bright red. You've been mistreating, Captain Lawson said heavily, the woman who owns this aircraft and this airline. Ariana finally lifted her gaze. Her calm presence filled the cabin like a tidal shift. Kara's breath hitched. Ariana Cole? As in, the Ariana Cole? The one from the interviews, the business magazines, the… Yes, Ariana said simply. Her voice held no anger. No need to prove anything. Power didn't need volume. Before anyone could speak again, the intercom clicked on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We will be making an unscheduled landing. Please remain seated. The cabin shook with murmurs. Kara's legs wobbled. She reached for a seat to steady herself. Ms. Cole, Captain Lawson said quietly, protocol requires that I ask, do you want to press charges for the physical assault? Ariana looked around the cabin, at the fear, the shame, the disbelief. Then her eyes returned to Kara. That depends, she said softly, on how she chooses to behave for the remainder of this flight. It wasn't forgiveness, it was a warning, and every person in that cabin felt it travel through their bones. The jet descended towards Salt Lake City Regional Airport with a heaviness that seemed to press on every passenger's chest. No one spoke. No one even breathed too loudly. Everyone felt the storm that was about to break. Everyone except Ariana Cole, who remained calm, dignified, unwavering in her seat. Kara Whitfield, on the other hand, looked like the ground beneath her feet had disappeared. Her hands shook. Her eyes were glossy. She kept whispering to herself, as if rehearsing excuses that sounded weaker each time she repeated them. The wheels touched the runway with a soft thud. A new kind of silence filled the cabin, a silence made of consequences. Within minutes, a black SUV pulled up beside the plane. The door opened, and two sharply dressed assistants stepped out. Chloe Patterson and Ryan Everett, both carrying tablets, their expressions firm and urgent. They boarded the aircraft with the quiet confidence of people who knew exactly who their boss was and exactly why they were here. "Mrs. Cole," Chloe said with a respectful nod, "everything is ready. We've informed legal, HR, the board, and the aviation authorities." Kara let out a soft cry. "Please, please, Miss Cole, I didn't mean—" Ariana stood. It wasn't dramatic. She didn't slam her hands on the table or shout. She simply rose, and the entire cabin felt it. The shift, the gravity, the authority. Her voice was steady. "Kara, look at me." Kara lifted her chin, tears threatening to spill. "You didn't mean to hit me?" Ariana asked, her tone soft but sharp. "Or you didn't mean for everyone to see it?" Kara swallowed. I just lost my temper. I didn't know who you were." Ariana tilted her head. "And if I were just any other black woman, would you have treated me better?" The question sliced through the cabin. Kara opened her mouth, then closed it again. There was nothing she could say that didn't reveal a truth she didn't want to admit. Ariana's eyes softened, not with pity, but with something far deeper. "Kara," she said quietly, "your problem isn't that you didn't know my name. Your problem is that you chose who to respect. You treated passengers differently based on appearances. And I've lived that my entire life." Passengers shifted uncomfortably. Daniel lowered his gaze, thinking about the times he'd seen similar moments, and stayed silent. Ariana continued, "You used your authority to humiliate someone you assumed didn't belong here. And that's not just unprofessional, it's dangerous." The cockpit door opened again. Two police officers stepped inside. "Ms. Cole," one officer said respectfully, "we're here regarding the assault report. Do you wish to press charges?" The room held its breath. Kara burst into tears. "Please, I'll lose everything. My job, my home, I can't, please." Ariana's expression didn't change, but something in her posture softened. She looked at the officers. "Before I decide, I want to speak with her alone." Gasps spread through the cabin. No one expected that. The officers nodded and stepped aside. Ariana motioned Kara toward the galley, away from the passengers. Kara followed, trembling. When they reached the small, quiet space, Ariana spoke first. "Tell me the truth," she said. "If I weren't the owner, if I were just a black woman sitting in first class, would you have apologized? Would you have felt guilty?" Kara looked down at her hands. I don't know." Ariana nodded slowly. "That's the problem." Kara's shoulders collapsed. "I'm not a bad person. People judge me for everything I do. I feel like I have to be in control. And when I saw you, I made assumptions. Wrong ones." Ariana wasn't surprised. Assumptions were the oldest wound in the black experience. "You hurt me," Ariana said softly. "Not just with your hand, with your words, with your assumptions, and with the message you sent to everyone watching." Kara wiped her tears. "I know, and I'm so sorry, truly." Ariana closed her eyes for a moment, a long breath, a tired breath. The kind women of color take when deciding whether to fight again or give grace one more time. When she opened them, her gaze was no longer angry, it was resolute. "Kara, I believe accountability matters, but so does growth. And I don't want your life destroyed, I want it changed." Kara's eyes widened. You're not pressing charges?" Ariana shook her head. "No, but you are facing the consequences." Kara nodded quickly. "Yes, anything." Ariana stepped back into the aisle. The officers returned. "I won't be pressing charges," Ariana said clearly, "but Sky Vista Air will terminate her employment effective immediately, and she will undergo mandatory anti-bias and de-escalation training before working in aviation again." The officers nodded. Passengers exhaled in relief, not because Kara deserved a free pass, but because they witnessed something rare, power used with wisdom. Kara sobbed as she was escorted off the plane, not in handcuffs but in humility. Madison Clark approached Ariana with tears in her eyes. "Ms. Cole, thank you for standing up for what's right, for all of us." Ariana placed a hand gently on Madison's shoulder. No, Madison. Thank you for having the courage to act when others didn't. Daniel stepped forward too. I'd like to formally apologize. I should have spoken up sooner. Ariana offered a small, understanding smile. What matters is you spoke up when it counted. Outside, cameras from local news stations were already gathering. The story had spread quickly, faster than Ariana expected, faster than Kara ever imagined. Hours later, Ariana sat in a studio for a televised interview. The interviewer leaned in. Ms. Cole, millions have seen the video of what happened on your plane. What message do you want to send the world? Ariana didn't hesitate. Respect, she said, should never depend on the color of someone's skin. Kindness should never be conditional. And dignity is not a privilege, it's a human right. The interviewer blinked, visibly moved. And to others who face discrimination? Ariana smiled gently. Your worth is not determined by anyone's assumption. Stand tall. Speak softly if you must. But always know you belong. The clip went viral. Every platform, every country, every community. Black families watched with pride. White families watched with reflection. People from all backgrounds felt the message settle into their hearts. The next time Ariana flew, the entire crew greeted her warmly. Not because she was the owner, but because she was a human being who deserved respect. And this time, every passenger felt safe, seen, and valued. Justice wasn't about punishing. It was about changing the world, one flight at a time. How did this story make you feel? Angry, inspired, or hopeful? Comment yes or no if it moved you. Do you believe Ariana handled the situation the right way? Yes or no? Would you like to see more stories exposing and overcoming discrimination? Comment yes or no. If you enjoyed this story, comment 111 below and tell us which country you're watching from. And don't forget to share this video so more people can hear this message.